on this Thursday night.
We are treating them as live devices.
As investigators try to figure out who mailed those would-be bombs, we look at a country's vicious war of words.
You could potentially be inhaling this or getting it into close enough contact that it could get into you.
CBC News investigates the bacteria airline passengers leave behind. When you board, how clean is your seat?
It's devastating. I mean, you have to wonder if your business is going to survive.
And some of Canada's most remote communities depend on one annual shipment of goods by barge. The fear and frustration when it can't deliver. This is the National.
And so it was another tense day in the United States. It's now a total of 10 bombs sent to prominent Democrats and their supporters. While the FBI warns there could be more, tonight we'll look at the investigation and how reaction to all of this is feeding that political divide. But first, a look at what we know so far. The most recent targets former Vice President Joe Biden and actor and liberal activist Robert De Niro. Previous packages were intercepted at CNN's New York offices, in Washington, in southern New York State, South Florida, and Los Angeles. This all started on Monday when a bomb arrived at the home mailbox of billionaire philanthropist George Soros. So who's behind all this? What do they actually want? Ellen Morrow has the latest on the drive to find those responsible.
A bomb squad officer handles one of the packages, taking the envelope and leaving the suspected bomb behind for safe collection.
I've campaigned.
This one was meant for former Vice President Joe Biden.
I just want to make
Another was sent to actor Robert De Niro. Like all the other targets, they're strong critics of Donald Trump.
I'm going to say one thing, Trump.
A nationwide manhunt for the serial bomb maker or makers is on.
Someone's trying, or some group of people are trying to terrorize us, trying to get us to lose faith in our government, in our institutions, in our society.
None of the devices have exploded.
We recreated it right here. It took 10 minutes. It's simple. I like to term this a Mickey Mouse kind of device.
That's left questions about the intent, to harm or to simply scare.
At least from my perspective, this, in my opinion, this is it's a hoax device meant to scare people or intimidate them to get whatever thought or ideologies across.
Authorities are telling people to stay vigilant.
This has to be taken with the utmost seriousness. So as far as a hoax device, we're not treating it that way.
The bombs are now being examined at an FBI facility in Quantico, Virginia.
Each one of these devices, when it is dissected, will be able to provide some forensic evidence.
Along with the culprit's identity, motive, and the possibility of escalation are top of mind.
Is this enough for them? Will this investigation inspire this person to learn from their mistakes, perfect their methodology, and come up with a device that will actually work?
Several of the devices are reported to have come through this Florida mail facility. One potential clue as a divided country waits for answers. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
Along with more suspicious packages today came more vitriol and accusations about who's to blame for the toxic political climate that some say fueled this crisis. And that put the White House press secretary on the defensive this morning.
The president is certainly not responsible for sending suspicious packages to someone, no more than Bernie Sanders was responsible for a supporter of his shooting up a Republican baseball field practice last year. The idea that this is at the hands of the president is absolutely ridiculous.
So joining me now with more on the politics of all this is CBC's Paul Hunter in Washington. So Paul, what did the president himself have to say about all this today?
Well, here's what Donald Trump didn't say or do. He didn't back down from his rhetoric against the media. And he didn't say, hey, if this was done by someone who supports me, I do not condone what you do. He did, however, tweet. Here it is. A very big part of the anger we see today in our society, he wrote, is caused by the purposely false and inaccurate reporting of the mainstream media that I refer to as fake news. It has gotten so bad and hateful that it is beyond description. Mainstream media must clean up its act fast. Critics pounced. setting aside that Trump himself regularly puts out false and inaccurate information, that's on top of language he uses all the time that gives a nod and a wink to violence. Among Trump's critics today, John Kasich, governor of Ohio.
He is not capable of being a unifier. In fact, I've become convinced that he doesn't know how to accept personal responsibility and always finds somebody else to blame.
But Trump's not alone in his views. I want to take a listen to a bit of video from TMZ, who today ran into Newt Gingrich, former Republican Speaker of the House. There's a bit of a back and forth here, but give a listen.
The president has also bashed the mainstream media. He's the president, though.
That's right, and the mainstream media has often earned it.
But should the president even be attacking and saying these things? Like even Robert's in there, and it's everybody that's on this list has been people that have opposed the president.
Look, I don't think there's a direct relationship of any kind between Trump and the kind of, the people you're talking also are people who have been publicly very hostile to conservatism. Very.
Keep in mind, though, that in a sense, none of this is new from Donald Trump. Even just this week in Houston at a rally I was at that we were talking about last night, his language was dark, angry, ugly, and divisive. And in Houston, Adrian, the crowd cheered loudly.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Paul. The CBC's Paul Hunter in Washington tonight. And Rosia, I know you just got back from speaking with Americans in a huge swing state about how this divide worries them.
It does, and I was just in Ohio's 12th congressional district. It could go either way in just a couple of weeks, so it seemed like a good place to talk about that political divide. We sat down with a group of people, half of whom support the president, half do not. We're going to hear more from them next week. But for now, here's a sense of what we talked about.
But the divisions that we're talking about, have any of you experienced that on a personal level? Or you can't talk politics at the table?
Not my family.
Or
I mean, like my sisters. And we
Roland?
don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll go around, because it sounds like you all have.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, I go to Florida to visit my family. You know, my dad is 91. A hardline Republican. I call my sister a Fox Republican. That's, you know, that's all she repeats. And I will tell you, with my sister, we just don't talk about it.
Feeling like we're not even 2 years into this, and there's so much hate.
This has to be moderated, right? And we're sipping water and having a nice conversation. The reality is unfortunately, I think what we've lost is not just in America. I think it's all over the place. Is the art of conversation, right?
You cannot have a conversation where you avoid Trump, and that became clear because he is such a polarizing figure. And it is scary for me to say in the country that I love that my sons, I fear for them. Now, I will say that fear is not new.
No, yeah.
But it's intensified because there's a permission that there wasn't before.
Bringing more of that very civilized but interesting conversation next week. As divided as Americans may be, there's one dominant midterm election issue shared by liberals and conservatives alike. It's health care, specifically coverage for pre-existing conditions.
Obamacare has been a complete and total catastrophe.
That has been Donald Trump's mantra since taking office. But here's the thing. Obamacare protects coverage for pre-existing conditions, and the program, or at least that part of it, is more popular than ever. So the president and many Republicans now say this.
And Republicans will always protect Americans with pre-existing conditions.
I support requiring insurance companies to cover pre-existing conditions.
I support forcing insurance companies to cover all pre-existing conditions.
In Wisconsin, pre-existing conditions are covered. And as long as I'm governor, they always will be.
But that last guy also supports a lawsuit to scrap Obamacare, so it can be confusing for voters. Some of them, with a real stake in the debate, spoke to our Kim Brunhaber.
In the shadow of Venice Beach palm trees, a small rally of progressives. The unlikely star of this midterm campaign event, 10-year-old Micah Eilers.
I'm just like everyone else, except I have a special heart and I go to special doctors. Thank you.
To date, those special doctors have cost more than $500,000, most of that covered by the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare. Since Donald Trump was elected, Republicans have been chipping away at the ACA.
To have health care for as many Americans as possible.
Now, many Democratic groups are trying to turn these midterms into a referendum on health care.
I will do whatever I have to do to ensure that the Democratic candidate in my district won.
So, in the waning days until ballots are cast, evangelists on either side of the debate are doing what they can to swing votes. Like Micah Eilers, Susie Jacobson has a congenital heart problem.
It is very depressing that most of my money is going to health care.
After Obamacare was passed, she says the insurance premiums for her family of 4 quintupled.
We were paying $2,500 a month just in the premium. That didn't include co-pays or deductibles.
Martha McSally voted.
So, with Election Day around the corner, she's blogging with renewed vigor to expose what she calls the myths of Obamacare.
I know other people who are suffering too, and that's why I'm doing this. I want the truth out there.
On the other side of the debate, Terry Carlson.
This is the American dream right here. I have this dream because of Obamacare.
Carlson explores the bones of her new house. 10 years ago, she feared she might end up homeless, bankrupted by her rising medical bills.
I went to try to find health insurance and nobody would insure me due to a genetic defect that I was born with.
I don't care what you look like, but what I care about is how good your health insurance is.
So Carlson went on a dating website and offered to marry just to get on her suitor's health plan. She got 35,000 offers, but ultimately wouldn't need any of them. Obamacare kicked in and covered most of her treatment.
Obamacare is better than I don't care, which is what we had under the Republican administration.
Now, in the election's final days, Carlson says it's her life's mission to help Democrats preserve the vestiges of Obamacare, while Jacobson vows to do whatever it takes to help Republicans destroy what little remains. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Los Angeles.
Here's a look at what else we're working on tonight. We'll take you on board Canada's top airlines for an investigation into the cleanliness of their planes, and the most contaminated surfaces might surprise you.
I'm dreading that. And the Prime Minister is making it clear he's not standing down from his carbon tax plan, and that could become a defining issue in the next election. At Issue is here to break it all down for us.
First, though, Saudi Arabia has changed its story again tonight when it comes to the death of Jamal Khashoggi. Saudi prosecutors are now admitting there is evidence to show his death was premeditated, and that contradicts the story from a few days ago that he was killed by rogue officials during a fight inside the consulate. Since Khashoggi's death, a travel ban was placed on his family, keeping them in Saudi Arabia. But today, Human Rights Watch says that's been lifted, and Khashoggi's son and his family are now in the United States. Grave concerns about Saudi Arabia aren't limited to this case. Its actions in Yemen's war are also drawing international criticism because of what's happening to innocent civilians, both from the fighting and its fallout. Today, Save the Children said more than half of Yemen's population is living in abject poverty, on less than $2 a day. And as Margaret Evans reports, survival is a daily struggle.
There is this, the face of hunger. The death-like stare of one child quickly replaced by that of another in a Sana'a hospital. Malnutrition and disease are killing more than 100 children every day in Yemen, according to aid agencies, piling on to the toll that comes with the business of war. UN warnings of famine got louder this week.
Much bigger than anything any professional in this field has seen during their working lives.
Vegetables and other products that make it across front lines to market have become unaffordable for many. Inflation more than doubling the cost of staples like flour and rice. Medicine is another matter.
The final solution for our problem is to stop the war.
There is no sign of that. Today, yet another airstrike killing civilians was blamed on the Saudi-led coalition fighting Houthi rebels backed by Iran. Emergency workers say a vegetable packaging plant was hit not far from Hodeidah, the Red Sea port town controlled by the Houthis. Some 70% of Yemen's food and aid goes through the port. Here, too, mothers watch their children fade from view. We can't even buy medicine for our children, says this woman. A lot of people in my street have died from airstrikes. And there is this. Riyadh's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who leads the Saudi coalition, courting Western investors and rehabilitation in the wake of the Jamal Khashoggi affair. Calls for an arms embargo against the Saudis have multiplied over unanswered questions in the journalist's death, but not, it would seem, over the toll the war is taking on Yemen's civilians and a country laid to ruin. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
With all the controversy around Saudi Arabia, there has been a lot of pressure on the Trudeau government to freeze its export of light armored vehicles to the kingdom. The Prime Minister once again condemned the murder of Jamal Khashoggi today and said the government is actively reviewing all existing export permits for the Saudi Arabia deal.
To a part of Canada now facing a real crunch as winter draws near, a remote community in the north that depends on an annual barge to deliver needed goods. The barge didn't arrive this year, leaving residents scrambling. Hilary Bird visited one small hamlet in Nunavut to see how it's coping.
This small hardware store is essential for the 1,500 people that live in this remote Nunavut town. It's the only place in this fly-in community to get lumber, tools, and parts for snowmobiles. But its shelves sit bare, the racks in the lumber yard empty.
Well, there's sales that could have been made, but because we don't have the stuff here, you know, we're not like bringing in the revenue. And
every year, millions of dollars of goods are trucked to a shipyard in Hay River, Northwest Territories. A massive barge owned by the Northwest Territories government then travels up the Mackenzie River to the Arctic Ocean to bring a year's worth of fuel, food, and supplies to the country's most remote communities. But this year, that barge left late and hit thick, impenetrable ice near Tuktoyaktuk. It was forced to turn around, taking Qoloktuk's year's worth of supplies with it, including $850,000 of the store's stock.
Oh, it's devastating. I mean, you have to wonder if your business is going to survive. Like, can it survive if we don't get all of our stuff in? I don't know.
This is the first of what will be dozens of freighter flights to the community. On it, just a fraction of the millions of dollars of desperately needed goods. Tools, small appliances, and food. The cost of flying in these supplies is enormous, but the barge company is footing the bill. Large items like cars and trucks will be stuck sitting in a warehouse until next year. Elder Frank Ipakak says this is the first time in his 71 years a barge hasn't arrived.
For every community, it is a lifeline.
Every morning, Ipakak uses his snowmobile to set nets just offshore in the Arctic Ocean. With the high cost of food, it's the only way he can afford to feed his family. Without snowmobile parts and lumber to make traditional Inuit sleds called kametiks, many families like Ipakak's won't be able to get the fish they need. Meanwhile, Jowdry says she hasn't been told when or if the rest of her stock will be coming in, but she says she trusts the barge company will stand by its word and fly in their supplies. If it doesn't, she says the store may have to close its doors. Hilary Bird, CBC News, Qoloktuk, Nunavut.
Some other stories we're following tonight on The National. A school bus has been swept away by raging floodwaters near the Dead Sea in Jordan. That is the torrent of water that picked up the bus carrying about 40 students and their teachers. At least 18 people have been killed, many of them under the age of 14. A number of families picnicking in the area were also among the dead and injured.
Where it's going to be is going to be beautiful, lovely. He's welcomed and loved and will be visited. I think that's brilliant.
Matthew Shepard, the gay student whose death changed America, will be forever remembered in the country's capital. Today, his parents donated some of Matthew's personal belongings to the Smithsonian, and tomorrow his remains will be interred at the Washington National Cathedral. It was 2 decades ago that Matthew was tied to a prairie fence and tortured in Wyoming. The outrage eventually led to the 2009 Hate Crimes Prevention Act.
Ahead tonight on The National, we'll take a closer look at the staggering amount of debt many Canadians are carrying and what it could take to turn things around.
And as the Prime Minister pushes ahead with his federal carbon tax, is he setting the stage for a battle on the campaign trail? Yeah, we're talking about that already. Adi Shu weighs in.
First, an investigation into the cleanliness of Canadian Airlines, what you need to know the next time you take off.
Used tampons.
And you said
Condoms.
in the seat pocket.
Yeah, in the seat pocket.
People vomiting on seats. I see that a lot.
The Bears are back, waiting here for the ice to form on Hudson Bay and their new seal hunting season to begin. So once again, Churchill's Bear Patrol is on 24-hour alert. But it's a costly business keeping curious bears and curious people apart. And Manitoba wildlife officials decided this year, reluctantly, that they must shoot any bears that persist in scavenging the town dump or menacing the community. But enter now Brian Davis, International Animal Crusader, with a plan to raise $20,000 or $30,000 to save those bears.
Why is it important? It's important to me because I think these are magnificent wild creatures. There's no need to destroy them, really. If we want to take the trouble to move them out of this area and cope with the problems that we've created in this area, then the animals can be allowed to live. And I think that they're pretty wonderful creatures and should be allowed to live.
How are you going to raise the money to do this?
We expect to have a lot of exposure of this particular operation, the initial part of it, and I will be traveling through Canada and Europe and the US, attempting to raise money to complete the operation, which we think may cost somewhere in the region of about $20,000.
The first of the problem bears was shipped out this weekend, watched by an international press corps, armed with a $600 one-way ticket to happier hunting grounds 200 miles down the coast. Brian Davies can have all of the troublesome bears if he can move them out. He's off to Europe this week to find out if the world's animal lovers are as concerned for Canada's delinquent bears as they were for our baby seals. Colin Holt, CBC News, Churchill.
It's already brown.
The latest investigation from our colleagues at Marketplace puts the cleanliness of 3 of Canada's popular airlines to the test. They set out to swab some of the surfaces that we touch most often on planes. The most contaminated surface might surprise you. How they got so dirty might shock you. Airline insiders dish the dirty truth to CBC's Charles Iagro.
With decades of experience in the air between them, these airline employees have seen it all.
Used tampons.
And you said
Condoms.
in the seat pocket.
Yeah, in the seat pocket.
And it's not pretty.
Changing their infants on an aircraft floor I've seen, and on seats. People vomiting on seats. I see that a lot.
Horror stories to be sure, but it turns out some of the dirtiest spots on a plane are the organisms you can't see.
First flight of the day!
Marketplace producers took a total of 18 short-haul flights to Ottawa and Montreal. The team flew with Air Canada, WestJet, and Porter, swabbing 5 commonly touched surfaces on board.
Oh my God.
The seat belt, seat pocket, headrest, washroom door handle, and the tray table.
Those are crumbs. It also has some artwork on it. This doesn't look like granite, that just looks like dirt.
Nearly half of the surfaces Marketplace swabbed contained levels of bacteria or yeast and mold that could put a person at risk for infection. Germ expert Jason Tetro was most surprised by the hemolytic bacteria found on a headrest.
These are mainly associated with things like strep throat, okay? And if you happen to have this on a headrest and you're moving your head back and forth, then there's a very good likelihood that you could potentially be inhaling this or getting it into close enough contact that it could get into you.
The problem, according to airline insiders, there's just no time to properly clean a plane between flights.
You know what, it definitely was not a huge priority, and when it was a priority, it wasn't necessarily for a cleanliness, it was for an aesthetic purpose.
When passenger goes off and they deplane the aircraft, you had like a 5 to maybe 10 minutes to clean the aircraft.
All three airlines declined to be interviewed, but in emails told us they follow Canadian and international cabin grooming rules. In its response, Air Canada pointed to a study which they say proves planes are no more dirty than any other public space. WestJet said they were concerned by our findings, but say they do their best given the fact that planes are public spaces. Porter told Marketplace they are confident about their efforts to keep passengers and their staff safe. Charles Siagro, CBC News, Toronto.
And you can watch Charles's entire investigation tomorrow night on Marketplace.
I'm just going to travel in a bubble from now on. Up next on The National, Chantal, Andrew, and Paul are all here for At Issue. And tonight it's all about the carbon tax and why the Prime Minister is really digging in.
You have tickets for the late show?
Yeah.
How did you get the tickets?
My grandfather.
Your grandmother approve of the Beatles?
Yeah, she's a real good egg. I think they're grand. Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous.
Why do you say that,
Can't
girl?
beat it.
Why do you-
Yeah, nice, clean boys. They're decent, clean boys. Anything you want them in this country. Look at the graduates calling them.
Which is your favorite, sweetheart? Starting with you.
Paul McCartney.
You want to marry Paul when you grow up?
Yeah.
You would like to marry Paul, wouldn't
Yes,
you?
sir.
You think there's any chance of that?
No. Yeah.
How about you, dear?
Ringo Starr.
Why is he your favorite?
The doll.
All right, well, how about you, sweetheart? Who's your favorite?
Paul.
Why?
Because he's cute.
How about you, sweetheart? Who's your favorite?
George.
All right, what happens to you girls when you see the Beatles?
Nothing. You know, Harry.
You just go hairy. You're hairy already. Do you have any boyfriends, kid?
Yeah, they don't like this either.
Boyfriends don't like the Beatles?
Right. No.
And why don't your boyfriends like the Beatles?
They're jealous.
I don't like the Beatles.
You get somebody like Peter, Paul, and Mary, now they have style.
I hate the Beatles.
No, they are folk singers. I
There's
mean,
nothing
this
to
kind
the
of thing
Beatles.
they sing is just, there's nothing to it.
Beatles are bad news. Do you expect this affection for the Beatles to last forever, dear?
No, for another 6 months. Yeah.
No.
At least. At least, yeah.
And then, are you going to find somebody else
No,
afterwards, dear?
no. We'll always be true fans.
Oh. Can you give me your name, sir?
Yes, Jack Poslands.
And are you a Beatle fan, Mr. Posland?
I like the Beatles, yes.
Who's your favorite Beatle, Mr. Posland?
Well, I like them all. I guess there's, I think Paul and Ringo, I guess, are my favorites.
Have you modeled your haircut on that of Ringo Starr?
No, I don't know. I just grew it and did it the best way I knew how.
Do you feel that you resemble Ringo Starr?
Well, a lot of people seem to think I do.
Do what?
Resemble Ringo a little bit.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
26 years old, eh? And you're still a Beatle fan?
Well, I like them.
One of the Beatles is your favorite.
Paul.
What happens to you when you see Paul?
I don't know, I go nuts, I guess.
All right. What about you? You John your favorite?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. He just appeals to me.
Just to your house, sweetheart.
I don't know. I think he's good looking.
I think he's good looking. What about you, dear?
Oh, I love George.
Why?
Oh, he's just fabulous. I really love him.
There has been objection to the kind of example you're setting by smoking in public. Have you ever considered giving it up?
No. Why should we? No.
We don't set examples.
Everybody else smokes in front of everybody else, you know. What's the point?
And we don't set examples to people, you see.
Hey, why should we, you know? We even drink. We even drink.
All right, can you girls tell me how much trouble have you gone to see the Beatles here in Toronto?
Sandy?
Yeah.
Just
I hope
start
they've
something?
been appreciative. I
Yeah.
doubt that. I doubt it.
Tell who's appreciative?
Well, I know Paul is because he always waves with everybody, but the others ignore you. Oh, they're absolutely marvelous. I'm so proud, and I'm so proud of the Toronto teenagers as well. I think they behave themselves.
we recognize that there is an imperative to put a price on pollution and an imperative to help Canadian families adjust.
Canadians have known all along that Justin Trudeau's carbon tax was just a tax plan dressed up as an emissions plan. But now we know it's really also just an election gimmick.
The idea that we need to limit our emissions is important. The way we implement it has to be done in a way that's progressive.
It's a cynical attempt by the Trudeau government to buy your vote with your money.
People don't want this tax. This carbon tax does nothing for the environment.
We all knew it was coming. The provinces heard the warnings, and this week the federal government revealed its plan to impose its own carbon tax on those who refused one. The critics have already come out swinging, as you heard there, accusing the Liberals of buying votes by giving rebates directly to taxpayers. Because after all, the election is now less than a year away, and thankfully At Issue is here to break it all down. Chantal Hébert is in Montreal, Andrew Coyne is in Vancouver tonight, and Paul Wells is here in Ottawa. Good to see you all. Okay, the federal backstop, this thing that they announced this week. Chantal, is it good policy? Does it make sense?
Yes, there's plenty of evidence that supports the contention that it is good policy. I think the main goal policy-wise of the government is to introduce the framework for carbon pricing and go on from there. So the levels will probably not meet the emissions target or the reductions that we should be looking at to meet our international commitments. So I think their theory is once you get the framework in, then you can work with it.
Andrew, so the idea that you would pay more for certain things because gas and oil are being used, and then you would get a rebate. I should point out it's not a monthly check; it's sort of an end of year thing. Does that seem like sound policy to you?
Yeah, I mean the impact on the environment is from the pricing of the carbon dioxide. That signal, that incentive remains in place even if you give people back a rebate, because they're still better off the more that they can come back on their consumption. If they can't come back on their consumption at all, then they're covered by the rebate. But if they can, and most people can cut back in some way or another, then they get to save more of that rebate. So the fiscal incentive remains in place. It's very good policy. It's patchy. They've put in all kinds of exceptions for various sectors and various parts of the country, et cetera. And of course, they're doing this on top of all the other less well-considered policies that are already in place, plus more that they're adding. And I think most small C conservative advocates of a carbon price, carbon tax, would like to see it replacing those measures rather than simply being layered on top of them.
Paul, you suggested in your column this week that it might be so efficient that other provinces will want to buy in, even though they have their own plans. And I think Andrew's point is a good one. We don't really know how it's going to change people's behavior. It's possible it will change it more dramatically or less dramatically, and that's the part I think that is difficult for the government to project.
So I was being a little tongue-in-cheek. What I was saying is, if it is so obvious that this is a better plan, then in the other provinces, yes, people are going to be scrambling to get in. I was told the next day by Jason Kenney for a story that I'm preparing that, in fact, the rebate is more generous as a penalty for living in Doug Ford's Ontario. You get a penalty that's more generous than the one you get as a reward for living in Rachel Notley's Alberta. Of course, that's the kind of the kind of point that Jason Kenney would make, but it points out, look, I'm not even sure this is good policy. People will say better late than never. But it's late because this government is going to be introducing this tax in the 4th year of its mandate. If it had gone quickly and in an agile way with piecemeal measures, there are literally hundreds of things that could have been done while instead of spending 2 years playing chicken with the provinces. And the details are almost hallucinatory. Your rebate check is twice as big in Saskatchewan than your rebate check in Ontario. People will say that's because of energy usage patterns, but each Ontarian doesn't feel like half a Saskatchewanian, and that sort of stuff is going to start to matter.
Well, and you've got Brian Pallister. You've got Brian Pallister in Manitoba complaining that why was Manitoba kicked out of the plan? Their plan was judged to be not good enough for the feds, and yet Newfoundland's is. And yes, I think that will probably bear some scrutiny as to are politics being played here where you've got liberal fortunes riding very heavily on Quebec and Atlantic Canada. Did they look the other way? Did they accept a plan that was less than optimal so as not to have to fight with Newfoundland as well as everybody else.
So is it good politics then, Chantal? It sounds like maybe for some parts, but not the other.
Well, we are for one captive or prisoners of our recent history, in the sense that under Stephen Harper, a number of provinces decided to take matters in their own hands, as they could and as the voters in those provinces believed that they should. So Quebec got itself into a carbon market. BC introduced a carbon tax. This is a decade's worth of public policy that has generated a wide political consensus. So the notion that the federal government of the day, Justin Trudeau, could walk in and say, forget all of those things that you've done, dismantle them, because I'm going to be introducing a plan, makes no sense. But I don't think that a year ago the Liberals believed that they would have to fight an election on this, because less than a year ago they had a buy-in in Ontario on carbon pricing, not only from the Liberals, who were threatened with not getting re-election, but also from the Patrick Brown Conservatives.
Okay, I want to play a clip of Andrew Scheer where he, well, you'll see what he says, but and then frame it in that way about whether this is going to end up being an election about what people choose to do or not do, or variations of it. Here's what Andrew Scheer said.
Large industrial polluters have been granted a special exemption. They won't pay anything under this plan, while hardworking individual Canadians and families will bear the full brunt of this new tax. Canadians won't be tricked by this. They know an election gimmick when they see one.
So his plan, he's been promising it for months now, and it has yet to happen. It seems to be something to do with how the globe can reduce climate emissions. I don't know how that works, but Paul, would this be an election issue, and how serious a plan does Andrew Scheer have to have in order to counter what the Liberals have put forward?
I have a hard time imagining that this will not be at least one of the major issues in the next election, and probably it'll swamp everything else. It's too close to the modern Conservative Party's roots and self-image in the resource-producing West. It's too close to the pride of the Liberals, of the Trudeau Liberals, in fact, in being the first generation of Liberals to actually want to do something about this. And so even, forget electoral calculations, both sides feel it too much. I have a feeling they're going to want to scrap over this. How much of a plan does Andrew Scheer need? Well, I'll tell you this. Here's how much of a plan Justin Trudeau had in 2015. The word carbon appears 10 times in the Liberal platform in 2015. 6 of those times it was a carbon fund that it was somehow magically going to pay out. It was going to be money that you got instead of money that you received. And 4 mentions of carbon in Justin Trudeau's platform were vague and passing references to pricing. That's how much Justin Trudeau needed to get elected, so I don't know. How much does Andrew Scheer need?
What do you think, Andrew? Is this a thing that could galvanize people to go vote? Would it get them new voters? That, to me, seems the issue as well. I don't see how you pick up new voters on issues where you're this deeply entrenched.
It may or may not be the election issue, because anytime you can see an issue coming from a mile away, often as not, parties move to kind of neutralize it and prevent it from being the issue. They try to make sure they don't lose on it. I think we've been watching all along for several years now to see how serious the public really is about climate change and dealing with climate change. I think the correct bet is proving to be they're not that serious. And I think the Conservatives have felt that all along, and I think the Liberals have laterally made that clear that they think so. So in the Liberal case, we'll make sure you don't have to actually pay anything for it. We'll compensate you for any out-of-pocket expenses. So hoping that people won't be put out that way. In the Conservative case, I think they'll need to have something called a plan. That plan will contain a lot of busy work of the kind that we've seen before, of subsidies and regulations that won't actually do anything, but the costs of which will be hidden from consumers. And they'll bet that people will be content, even if they somehow know at the back of their mind that they're actually paying for these things. I think there's a part of people that just says, just don't show it to me, just don't put it in front of my face. And I hate to be so cynical, but I suspect that's the case.
Chantal, on that point, whether it could be an election issue,
I'm not convinced that it's going to be that easy to get away with. I don't have much of a plan, but you won't see a carbon tax for 2 reasons. Younger voters, and they did help Justin Trudeau by showing up in droves compared to previous years, and voting for the Liberals by a proportion of almost 2-1, take this issue more seriously than their elders. And two, the carbon tax issue, like Justin Trudeau's carbon tax. I was in Vancouver when all this was rolled out, and it was not even a major news story. Why? Because it's not happening in BC, where people have voted for parties that are all into carbon pricing. Same in Quebec. So you've got voters in 2 large electoral markets, excuse me, Ontario, that actually have been living under a carbon pricing regime for 10 years and who have not kicked anybody out of office over it, on the contrary.
Okay, I have like a minute 30, so this is going to be hard to do, but thoughts on what is happening in the United States? I mean, the political divisiveness we've been seeing for, years, but obviously ramped up right now, leading up to the midterms. And this may or may not be what is causing these explosive devices to be mailed around. It seems to be some sort of political motivation behind that. Why are we not seeing that polarization? Good luck answering this in a minute and a half in Canada. Paul, quick answer.
I'm not sure the difference is that great. I mean, Faith Goldie, a hard right candidate for mayor in Toronto, got 25,000 votes. You have to spend about a half hour on Twitter to see all kinds of people calling one another the most horrible names. The United States has all that, plus probably one loner mailing out pipe bombs. I don't think that's a huge difference, I'm afraid.
The U.S. has always been a society that goes to more extremes than Canada, going back through their history. They've also been through a series of traumas in recent years, whether you're talking about the financial crisis, the terrorist attacks, the Iraq War, none of which we've experienced to anything like the same degree. Plus, they have this phenomenon of the self-sorting of people moving into more conservative areas, more liberal areas, self-sorting themselves and never really having to do anything to do with people unlike themselves. So add all that up and you've got the recipe for this kind of toxicity.
Chantal.
But we also have less wedges on central issues. No one anywhere is campaigning against public health care. We don't have anti-immigration mainstream parties or mainstream politicians. We no longer fight all that much over abortion access, same-sex marriage, go down the list. All these issues are issues that still act as wedges in the U.S.
Okay. Smart Talk tonight. Thanks everybody for being here. Before we go, be sure to subscribe to At Issue the podcast for extra content. This week we're going to talk about, I feel like we've talked about this a number of times, but the federal NDP losing yet another MP, what this means for the party's momentum or lack thereof. Look for it on iTunes and in major podcast app, our website, cbcnews.ca/The National.
And still ahead on The National, it is a familiar warning. Don't take on too much debt. Interest rates are going up. We'll look at how deep Canadians are in and what it will take to dig our way out of debt nation. First, we'll look at a story we'll have for you tomorrow night. Concrete is just about everywhere you look nowadays, integral to our modern day life, especially in cities. But when you make concrete, you make another problem, carbon dioxide. Tomorrow, Andrew takes an in-depth look at an innovative solution.
So this is it. Yeah, this is the mixer. So the CO2 from that tank outside comes in here? Yeah, so it comes in through a pipe, directly into the mixer, mixes with the fresh concrete, reacts right away.
The whole process takes about 3 minutes. Carbon dioxide is injected directly into the concrete mix. And not only is it trapped, it hardens.
It starts reacting with the cement immediately and is permanently encapsulated in the concrete.
Now, the song that you are going to sing, as I recall,
is there's a short story behind that. I went to my 14th high school reunion this past summer in Elliott Lake, Ontario, Elliott Lake High School.
And this is the 14th reunion they've had?
No, this first one I've had, and it was 14 years. So I hadn't seen any of these people for 14 years. It was a very emotional and touching experience to see all these people come together for the first time after so long. And I did a bit of a show at the high school, and in observing all of my friends and watching them mingling and dancing, I got all choked up and I went to the washroom and wrote a song there. I hope that doesn't forebode the quality of the music, but it was the only place that was quiet at the time, and so I went to it only cost me a dime, and I could go in and write the song.
At schools, that's a dime now?
Yes. And,
Modern education, I tell you.
Well, I did spend 20 minutes, so I don't know if there's
over parking.
Yeah, probably a nickel if I were just passing through. But I wrote this song for and about my friends at the Elliott Lake High School reunion. So it
We'll
does have
dedicate
some-
it to them right now. If you'd like to take that high
I'll give it a
chair,
try.
that taller chair,
Thank
and
you.
microphone. Alan Finn, his own song.
Going home, I gotta see some friends of mine. Going home, gonna have myself a time. You know that I've been around and I've been up. I've been down, but I'm back on the ground. Going home, those good old boys driving all them fancy cars, sitting in the back seat, drinking beer, and pretty girls, yeah, looking just the way they were, still dancing after all these years. Going home, gotta see some friends of mine. Going home, I'm gonna have myself a time. You know that I've been around and I've been up. I've been down, but I'm back on the ground. Going home. Well, how you doing? You know, it's been a long, long while. I'm glad to hear you're doing fine. I moved away, yes, and now I got a wife and kids, and we ask of you from time to time. Some took the long road there and back, and now they're walking home proud and tall. Some took the wrong road along the way, and they're never coming back at all. It's been fun, now we should keep in touch, let's try. We should never say goodbye, but if we never ever should pass this way again, we'll have these memories till the day we die.
You constantly have a fear, what if something happens, the interest rates go up and I can no longer afford my house?
There was a possibility to consolidate any loans that we may have already had with the car loan.
So that's a real challenge, is finding a good balance, something that, a way of approaching money that's sensible.
We've been talking money all week as part of our CBC News series, Debt Nation. The Bank of Canada has just raised interest rates again, the fifth hike in the last year and a half, and that is only making warnings about Canadians taking on too much debt louder. Peter Armstrong is here to break it all down. Well, we heard a little bit of it there, Peter, whether it's car loans or mortgages. How deep is this debt hole?
It's pretty deep, Ian. And I mean, you look at the numbers, the statistics are eye-popping. For every dollar that we earn, Canadians owe $1.69. The average Canadian owes more than $23,000, and that doesn't even include mortgages. When you actually factor in mortgage debt, we owe a staggering $2.1 trillion. Remember, all those charts, all those numbers, those are people. Each one of those data points tells somebody's story.
Well, a series of misfortunate events led me into financial difficulties.
My addiction was credit cards.
In October of 2013, I was out of a corporate job.
I was in the middle of my maternity leave, and 5 days after my husband found out that his dad had passed away, my lung collapsed out of nowhere. It took almost a year and a half of going through this with no money besides EI, and eventually also at one point welfare when EI was up. When I called the Credit Counseling Society of British Columbia, I was in tears. It was Christmas time, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to pay the rent.
My highest debt was about $50,000. I'd max out my cards, and I would go to the bank at a consolidation loan and then have that consolidation loan to pay off, but then another bank would offer me a new card to help with that.
I was in hock to the tune of $140,000. I had 2 credit cards maxed right out and 2 lines of credit.
I'm not afraid to answer my phone anymore. It used to be that I had collectors phoning me left, right, and center.
I paid off about $45,000 of my debt, and that feels incredibly, I mean, there's no words.
I feel the situation I'm in now is transitional. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm on the path there.
You know, just hearing those stories, I find makes me feel a little bit anxious. At least they're optimistic. At least it looks like they're on the path to getting out of debt. But to what extent does that depend on the economy being strong?
It's a good point, because they're intimately intertwined. I mean, look back. Interest rates started going up, what, around 2017? So happens that's about the same time that the economy really started chugging along. And even now, 58% of Canadians told us that if their costs went up by more than $100 a month, they'd have to change their spending habits. So naturally, the central bank worries that, sure, things are good now, but what happens if things do start to slow down?
We're at the stage where, you know, the economy is operating where it can. It's where it should be. And the question is, how much longer can it go? And the answer is, for a really long time, if nothing happens to mess it up.
Ian, that's about as optimistic as the central banker's ever going to get. And, you know, we set out in all of this to try to find a tipping point. What would push this from concerns over debt to an actual debt crisis? And we found there's no one answer. It's not a single interest rate that suddenly changes everything. Debt's more like a fault line. It threads through everything else. No, Canada's not alone in this problem. And look at debt levels in Canada, how they compare to other countries. It's certainly not very pretty.
All right, Peter, thank you.
Now, the finance minister says Canada's economy is in good shape and that he will release a fall economic update on November 21st. Here are some of the other stories we're watching tonight. On Friday, a French court of appeal will decide whether to uphold a January decision that released a Canadian academic from more than 3 years in prison without formal charges. Hassan Diab was linked by French authorities to the 1980 bombing of a Paris synagogue. 4 people were killed. If France wins its appeal, it could seek to extradite Diab again or try him in absentia. Diab has always maintained his innocence.
I'm thrilled to win it. I'm not saying that it isn't an absolute thrill to win it, but certainly it never entered my mind that I would.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, we brought you the story of Canada's Donna Strickland, just the 3rd woman to win the Nobel Prize for Physics. At the time, she was officially an associate professor of physics and astronomy at the University of Waterloo. There was some questioning as to why the university hadn't promoted her after all these years. Well, now it has. Strickland is finally a full professor.
Well, you'd hope so, right? The moment is up next, and tonight it's a warm reception for a special guest inside the House of Commons.
The one thing about painting in the public like this are the conversations that you get to have with the community, the people just walking by and the questions you get asked. And I think it's really interesting how a mural like this can sort of just change the way someone experiences their environment.
We
started this project last year with a pilot of four murals in the Beltline. This year we're expanding to 11. And really what we want to do is transform spaces in our community, promote the artists in our community and in Calgary in general. All the artists had to submit a proposal to us, just telling us what their art's about, kind of giving us a portfolio, and we had to make a really tough decision about choosing the 11 artists that we had for this year. We had 66 submissions this year.
We've participated in several other mural festivals across Canada and painting in Mexico as well. So it's nice to finally be able to get funding to do a nice big wall in our city. With our abstract designs, we just hope to bring positivity and color and some quality artwork to the street.
The great thing about this project is that we could choose any subject. So I decided to do my mural on bees. I chose colors that were more unnatural because bees come in contact with a lot of pesticides lately, and that's a main cause that's killing them off.
Just trying to capture, I guess, the pride of the Native culture and the diversity of our people, how powerful and strong the culture is becoming, and yeah, I'm here to showcase them. I'm excited. You know, everyone's going to see my work, and people probably recognize this design, so they're going to already know where it came from.
For me personally, what the biggest draw of murals is that they transform spaces, is that you can take a space that looks kind of unwanted, underused, maybe even a little bit kind of frightening, and you can turn it into something bright and beautiful. And the good thing about murals and public art is that it's for everybody. You don't have to pay to go into a gallery, you don't have to have it in a corporate boardroom, it's for everybody.
Don White still has vivid memories of the day he helped free the Netherlands from Nazi occupation. He was part of the Canadian force that played a large role in the liberation, and the Dutch, well, they have not forgotten. Today, their Prime Minister thanked Canada during a speech in the House of Commons, and he singled White out specifically for his service. His message of gratitude is our moment of the day.
The Dutch feel a deep connection with the people of Canada, and with good reason. A reason that is embodied by one man, a veteran of the Royal Canadian Dragoons, who helped liberate the Netherlands from Nazi occupation, Mr. Don White.
Well, put almost a tear in my eye that we were able to do this for the people there. That vehicle is either the vehicle I was in or my officer was in, and that's the day we liberated the town of Leeuwarden. And there was a feeling in the atmosphere that I can hardly describe, but to this day I'll remember it. The people were overjoyed. Just a feeling that I got of the relief they had from the years they'd been oppressed.
So our thanks to Power and Politics for some of that tape of Don talking, but it was very emotional inside the House, and it was certainly very emotional for him too. He's 94.
That ovation went on for quite some time. It's interesting, he was asked to, why did he think, you know, the Dutch liked the Canadians so much, and aside from the bravery of the Canadian soldiers, he said it's because he thinks the Canadians shared their food with the people there, and actually asked the military chefs to half the rations and give the rest to the population there.
You know, the memories are deep. The sacrifice was great in Holland, in Belgium, in northern France for the Canadians and other Allied soldiers. And it's nice to see that real emotion so many years later. And I'll just put my plug in terms of travel to Europe. If people haven't already, the opportunity for Canadians to see that gratitude modern day in Northern Europe is worth the trip. That is the National for October the 25th. Good night.